The only problem that we had an issue with was example 6, right? Because what was different about example 6 when compared to the other 5? What was different about example 6? It had a negative exponent, right? We do not want to leave. We're going to say don't leave a negative exponent. Leaving a negative exponent in your answer is basically like leaving a fraction that's not simplified, right? You're not quite done yet. You're not, mathematically wrong, but you're not done. I always compare it back to English. It's like writing a whole sentence and then not putting a period. Like, yeah, it's still a sentence, but grammatically it's technically not, right? So if I leave my answer as a negative exponent, I still have one more thing I need to do. Let's figure out what it is we need to do. All right. So like I said, in example 6, we ended up with a negative exponent. When we have a negative exponent, there's 3 steps that we need to do. These are the same 3 steps every time that we're going to hopefully be able to commit to our memory over the next couple of days. The first thing we need to do is put the base. What color did I have my base? Yeah. Put the base in a fraction. So this was my answer from number 6, right? Question? Okay. That was our answer from number 6. Y to the power of negative 3, right? Okay, please stop talking. Okay, y to the negative third. Is that base a fraction or a whole? Well, I was going to say a whole number, but it's a variable. Is that a fraction? No, what is a fraction? It's a whole variable. Yeah. What does a fraction look like? There's a line, something's on the top, something's on the bottom, right? So if I have y, like, let's ignore the exponent for a second, right? Why do I still hear you? Stop talking. You can do whatever you want on your Chromebook. Stop talking, okay? Just please stop talking. If I have y, right, and I want to turn it into a fraction, you guys remember what I can put underneath that y? 1. Yeah, 1. So that's the first step. Easy step. We all know how to do that. Okay, then we're just going to flip the fraction around. So we're going to take the numerator, go to the denominator, and we're going to take the denominator, bring it up to the numerator. Okay? Now what that's called is taking the reciprocal. Okay, but that word is kind of weird and it confuses people a lot, so I just like to say flip the fraction. You guys know what I mean when I say flip the fraction, right? Top goes to the bottom, bottom goes to the top, okay? So when I flip it around, what's going to now be in my numerator here? It's going to be a 1, and on the bottom I have my negative exponent, y to the power of negative 3. Okay? Once I flip that around, all I have to do is make the exponent positive. Right? So I still have that 1 on the top, still have that y on the bottom, but now my negative 3 is going to turn into a what? Positive 3. Just making it a positive. Alright, so yesterday we ended up with the answer y to the power of negative 3. Our actual final answer is just going to be 1 over y to the positive 3. Yeah.
Like when we get like answers like that, do we have to do all that, or can we just put 1 over that?
You just put a 1 over it. If that's easier for you, you can do that. For some reason, this is like every year this lesson is like really confusing. Does that sound confusing to you guys?
Yes.
Okay, then close your Chromebook. If it does sound confusing, close your computer. Okay? Let's do some examples, right? If I have 2 to the negative 6, Alicio figured out a nice little shortcut, right? But I'm going to take it step by step at least to start us out. What's the first thing I need to do with my base of 2? Yeah, Angelina? Put a 1 underneath it. Right? Now that I have a 1 underneath it, what am I going to do? Because I've turned this base into a fraction now, right? What am I going to do with that fraction? You're going to take the reciprocal. Good. Absolutely. Which means I'm going to do what with it? Flip it. All right, so my 1 was on the bottom. Now my 1's going to go to the top. My 2 to the negative 6 power comes down to the bottom. And because I flip my fraction, what can I now do with that negative 6? Make it positive. Exactly. How's that sound? Good. Okay, it works if we have a variable too. If I have x to the negative third power, I'm going to take that x, I'm going to put it over 1. Now that my base is a fraction, what can I do with that fraction? Flip it, exactly. So what's going to be on the top now? 1. What's going to be on the bottom? X to the negative third. Now that I flip my fraction, what can I do with that exponent? Make it positive. Give these last two ones a try. Shouldn't take too long. We're just following those 3 steps, right? I'm going to come by and see how you guys are doing. Examples 9 and 10 real quick. Good? Cool. All right.
That's why you didn't get that. Okay. Oh. I was gonna give it to you, but I found it here and I felt bad.
Not right now. All right. Real quickly, example 9. What's the first thing I need to do again? I already forgot. Put a 1 under the base. All right, what's the second thing I need to do? Flip it. So now my 1 goes on top. Okay, now that I flipped it, what happens to my exponent? It becomes positive. Nice and easy. Now check this out. What is 10 squared equal to? 10 times 10, right? Well, what is 10 times 10? 100. So when we have an answer that's easy for us to simplify, right? We don't have to pull out a calculator. It's not like 7 to the 6th power. I don't need to know what that is. If it's something simple like 10 to the 2nd, we're going to also add in now that we're simplifying that to 1 over 100. Can I simplify x to the 3rd? No, there's nothing to expand out. It's an x. Can I expand 2 to the 6th? Yeah, that one's easy. The 2's are easy, right? What would 2 to the 6th be? Anyone got that? 12? That'd be 2 times 6. Yeah, but 2 to the 6th. Well, what's 2 times 2 times 2? 8. Okay, so 3 2's make an 8. Another 3 2's make another 8. Emerson, what's 8 times 8? Yeah, 1 over 64. If you came up with that too, great job. Yeah. Like this part right here? Yeah, if it's easy for you to do in your head. Like let's go back to the previous page, right? 5 to the power of 8, just leave it like that. It's going to be like a crazy big number. X to the 18th, it's a variable, can't do anything. 2 to the 9th, we're going to leave it like that. Well, I mean, yeah. We could, but we're not going to. We'll leave it. 3 squared, can we simplify that pretty easily? 9. Yeah, what's 3 squared? 9. Go ahead and add that in on example 4. Right, so if you look at it and go, oh, I could do that in my head, or I could do that fairly easily, then go ahead and simplify it. If it's something like 17 to the power of 20, you know what I mean? Like, don't worry about doing all that. And then for this one, example 5, we did already simplify it. If I have 4 to the 1, we're going to just write 4 now. Okay, I don't want to see any 4 to the 1s. I want to see a 4, which leads me into example 10 perfectly. 4 to the power of negative 1. What do I want to do first? Put it over 1. Then I'm going to flip it. Once I flip it, I'm going to make my exponent positive. And what's 4 to the power of 1? Just 4. So my final answer here on example 10 should be 1 over 4. Quick show thumbs. How are we feeling about those negative exponents? Good. Like I said, this really, I don't know, maybe it's my fault, but it's really confusing for a lot of people. Once you start to see the pattern, right? You guys see the pattern in all these answers? Yeah, once you see the pattern, it's pretty straightforward, okay? We'll step it up into more complicated stuff as we move through the unit, but for now, we're going to keep it nice and light.